Welcome back, everyone, and I'm going to be sharing an exclusive offer here with you today. You can earn 80,000 bonus miles when you apply for the Delta SkyMiles Gold Card, only with my referral link, and that link will be in the comments. And at the end of the application walkthrough, I'm going to be giving you some tips or reasons why you may have been denied for a credit card in the past, so you can go ahead and maximize your chances of approval. This is for the business card, but you do not need an official LLC to count as a business. You could be a sole proprietor, a freelancer, any type of side hustles, if you walk dogs on the side. Anything you do on the side can count as a business. You do not need an official LLC. You do need an EIN number, which is free to obtain. All you have to do is Google EIN and it'll pop up. So let's get started with the application. Okay, so you do not need to follow every single tip that I'm going to give you, but if you are an actual business and you want to increase your chances of getting funding in the future from other lenders besides Amex, like actual loans, following these steps or tips will help you, look more professional in that sense. So I'm just going to give you those tips because, you never know what you might need in the future. So for an email address, you can use your personal email address again if you are someone who doesn't have an official LLC. But if you're an established business, you can get a domain based email from Google. I think it's like $6 a month. So that would just help you look more professional. So then you enter your legal business name. Again, if you do not have an official LLC, you just put whatever you want in there. You could put your name and whatever the name of the business is. If you, don't have a business at all or a side hustle at all, I'm not telling you what to do, but again, you can just put whatever you want in that box. For your business address, you can use your personal address. I don't remember if I've ever used my personal address on a business application, but I know that you can. However, if you want to appear more professional, you can get a UPS mailbox. Mine is like $29. I actually don't know how much I pay. I know I pay quarterly. I know that. I think it's like $80. I don't know. I really don't know. When you do have an actual LLC, you do want to make sure that you get a different address because your LLC is public record. And so if you are using your home address on your LLC, anyone can look that up and know where you live. So just make sure that eventually you do get a business address, but for the application, you do not need one. But again, in the future for actual lending, you might want one. Your business phone number. I use my personal phone number because I do not have an actual business phone number. But if you do want to get a business phone number, I will leave some of the websites up here where you can go ahead and do that. You go ahead and put your industry type. That's pretty self-explanatory. Your company structure. All of this is self-explanatory except for your annual business revenue. I am not a professional business credit strategist or expert. However, I have been told by someone who is a professional business expert, whatever you want to call it, that you can put your projected industry income. So this doesn't have to be or revenue. This doesn't have to be what you made personally. It could be, let's say, if you are in retail and one of your competitors or the industry average is about 10 million per year, you can, go ahead and feel free to put that in that box. Just be careful because, you are subject to submit documents at any time if Amex does request that. I would do a little bit more research on that when it comes to business. I know obviously business and personal have different rules, but I was told again that you can go ahead and put your industry standard or industry average in that box. I'm not recommending it. I'm just giving you the information. Your federal tax ID, that is your EIN number, which again is free. Just type in EIN number in Google and it'll give you the link. It should be like, make sure you click the link that says .gov. I don't want anybody to get scammed. But again, that's quick and easy. And then this is all your personal information. So that's self-explanatory as well. With your total annual income on the personal side, be accurate with that. Do not lie. If you have a Delta SkyMiles number, you go ahead and add that. And then you can choose if you want it sent to your business or home address. Make sure you take a look at your interest rates if you plan on carrying a balance and all of this stuff so that there's no surprises. I'm not expecting you to sit here and read all this. I'm just saying, the important things, make sure you pay attention to that. This $100 Delta flight credit, I will just say that I really, really enjoy. You have to spend $10,000 in a calendar year to get it, but I like to use it to book one-way first class tickets, and it comes in clutch a lot. If you don't want to buy a first class ticket, you could get a round trip ticket with a $100 flight credit for like $80. I've seen flights really cheap, so that's one of my favorite perks of the card. Then you would submit the application. Hopefully you get approved, and it's a celebration. Now let's talk about a few reasons that you might be denied for a credit card or why you may have been denied for a credit card in the past. And one of the biggest reasons are just your high balances. So they're going to check your current balances and also your previous credit card history. So if you have been known to carry balances in the past, or even if you carry balances on and off, that's going to be a red flag for lenders, obviously. If it looks like on paper that, you're someone who racks up a lot of debt and just either struggles to pay it off or just doesn't pay it off, they're not going to want to give you any credit. And that's pretty self explanatory. So if you are someone that currently has a bunch of credit cards already with balances on them, I would work towards paying those off. And maybe in a year, once your balances are lower or they're completely paid off, reapplying. This next one is pretty, obvious in my opinion, I think, which is just you have a lot of late payments, especially late payments that are recent. Obviously, nobody's going to want to lend to you if you have not been known to pay your balances on time. Even if it was just once recently, I would wait a couple months or a year to make sure that you consistently have on time payment history. Next one, low income to debt ratio. So if you don't make a ton of money or your income is really low compared to the amount of debt that you have or the amount that you're carrying on your other credit cards, lenders are going to be wary about giving your credit card because they're going to say you cannot afford to pay off the credit or the balances that you have now. Why would we give you more credit for you to put balances on these cards when you're already struggling to pay it off, or either you're struggling or you just simply cannot pay them back? So make sure that you either increase your income or again pay down those credit cards. That's just the biggest thing. If you are carrying balances right now, pay off your cards as much as possible to increase your approval odds. Another reason you might be denied or have been denied in the past is too many recent open accounts. So if you just applied for a credit card 2 minutes before you apply for this one, you might want to wait a second. If you just applied for a credit card last week, if you just applied for one last month, and it's something consistent with you, like every 2 weeks you're applying for a credit card, they might say, okay, this is not okay with us. We don't want to give you a card. So just make sure, you give it a little bit of time, a little bit of breathing room, relax a little bit, and then come back later. And then the last thing is just when something on your application does not add up. So, for example, your business makes $10 trillion a year and you only make $30,000 a year. How does that work? It doesn't. So, something that looks fishy, something that looks like fraud, if you have something wrong with your address, employment, something just is not adding up, that's a reason for lenders to say, we're going to pass on doing business with you, but we hope you get it together and maybe come back in the future. So make sure your application is clean. Make sure you are honest. Do not lie, because if they find out you are lying, they can bring you to court for that. You can be prevented from applying with a credit card with them in the future and other lenders as well. So just check yourself before you wreck yourself, and let's not do anything we're going to regret. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.